Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely, pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed, and you're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mistress Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie. Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for episode 248 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. I just want to remind you about the next Mistress Carrie Grunge Brunch at City Winery Boston coming up on Saturday, March 22nd with the Stone Temple Pilots Unplugged set being performed by the Stone Temple Posers. Get the details and the link to get tickets on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Art Alexakis from Everclear made his first appearance on the show on episode 171, and he's back talking about the shows he's got scheduled in New England on March 6th and 7th. I sat down with Art to talk about surviving the LA wildfires, Woodstock 99, and he even invented his own word. You never know what's going to happen on an episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast. So allow me to reintroduce you to Art Alexakis from Everclear. Thank you, Mr. Alexakis, for coming back on the show. It's nice to see you.
Good to see you. How's it going? Is it cold there?
Yeah, today it's melting, which is good, but it has been ridiculous the last week and a half.
That's what I've heard. It's been a brisk 72 today.
You know what? Allow me to just flip you off as we're encased in an igloo right now.
That's okay. I don't take it personally, and I enjoy it.
We'll save some of this cold weather for you when you're in New England March 6th and 7th.
No, it'll warm up by then. I'll bring that California sunshine, you know.
I wanted to ask you, because the last time you and I talked, we were talking about your workspace and your studio and stuff. Exactly. You're unaffected by the fires, is what I was getting at.
The studio was. I'm about a mile and a half from my house. My house was not spared. It was spared. It didn't burn down, but all the property around it is. It's about over a couple $100,000 worth of damage. So we've got Surf Pro in there. We can't live there. We're still in a hotel almost 2 months later.
Really?
Yeah, my family. Yeah, because of the smoke damage. They're supposed to take all the carpets, all the soft goods like our couches and all that stuff. They cleaned up everything else inside. Outside, we're building. We had a redwood fence, that caught fire and burned everything outside. And so we're replacing, we had to take down an oak tree that had been there for over 85 years that had caught fire. But thank God that the Pasadena and Altadena fire department saved our house. And it's like we're on a block. We're like 350 feet from ground zero, from Eaton Canyon. And the fire started, and it took out the first two houses in my block. There's about 16 houses, and there's about 8 or 9 in front and about 7 in the back, and we're in the front. And the first 4 or 5 houses gone. It jumped our house and 2 others, so about 6 in the middle, jumped those houses, still burned a bunch of stuff. No one's in the houses yet. We're about 2-3 weeks away from getting back in. And then the rest of the block was just destroyed. And then the fire turned and went west and took out most of Altadena. And about 12 of my friends and colleagues have lost their house. And then another 5 or 6 have been displaced and like me are still waiting, for insurance is doing a good job. It's just, it takes time to rebuild,
Well, that's good that the insurance has actually been easy to deal with because so many people have been affected. That's what I was going to say. A lot of people have. Yeah, I was going to say, you better have.
There's a lot of people who have. I haven't heard anybody say they have horror stories about their insurance, but personally, I have heard people say it's a little slow, but for the most part, it's been pretty good. What I've heard about, but for people like me, we haven't gotten an apartment or Airbnb. We just stayed in the hotel, and mainly because my wife and my daughter felt safe there. We found a great place to let us have our dogs, and it's kind of like that old book, what was it, Eloise at the Plaza? Do you remember that book?
Yeah.
As a kid, that's how my daughter feels, because all the housekeepers and all the valet guys and all the room service guys and the front desk guys are like, "Hey, Arizona, what's going on?" I'm like, how do these men know my 17-year-old daughter's name? What the hell's going on here? Because I'm going out and playing shows. I was gone for most of January, and the first part of February. But I'm home for another couple of weeks. Then we start coming out and doing some shows like in New England there.
She's not going to want to go home. She's going to be spoiled being at the hotel.
Man, that kid's already spoiled. Are you kidding me? Me and her mom both grew up poor, and it's just like, compared to us, it's just like, can you give me a ride over to my boyfriend's house and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you're 17, man. By 16, I had worked and saved up enough money to buy a car. The day I could get my driver's permit, got it. The day I could get my license, took the test, failed it, but within 3 months, passed it, right? Kids today, they just don't care.
They have Uber, so they're not in this big rush to get their license. I took my test the day I could, and I thought I was going to fail because my mom sparked up a cigarette in the back seat during the test with the Mass State Trooper going, "Ma'am, you can't smoke." And she goes, "It's my car."
That's so gangster, man.
Oh, yeah. Really man. Gangster in her Chrysler LeBaron wagon with the fake wood on the sides. So gangster.
Yeah. My mom, I think my mom's older than your mom. My mom was born in 27. She passed in 2006, but my mom was like in the back, curlers in her, walking with curlers in her hair, didn't give a shit, right? Just no fucks to give. And smoking those big old long cool 100s, just, and that was my role model.
I look forward to being that crazy old woman that doesn't have to give a fuck. I can't wait.
I just wish that I could smoke and drink. I can't do it. It'll kill me. But I wish I could those people just didn't care. They didn't care. My mom had cancer like 7 times. Never missed a day of work. The people that grew up in the Depression, scary tough.
Oh yeah,
scary tough. And I could just see your mom going, "That's my fucking car. I'm putting this out."
Yeah, and she was definitely younger than your mom, but my grandparents. I always joke with everybody, there is no one more disgusting than a Sicilian that lived through the Depression. Because my grandfather would eat anything.
Pig's knuckles. My mom too. Back when I was a kid in the 70s, you'd go to the liquor store in California and there would be a big old thing of pickles, which I liked as a kid, but they would also have like pig's feet. And my mom would like grab one of those and just pickled pig's feet. She's like, "Try it, it's good." I'm like, No,
I am so all set.
I need a Snickers bar. I want a Snickers and a pickle.
Nothing was safe. My grandfather was a Sicilian baker. And so we had a deli. He made his own head cheese, which I don't even want to talk about because it's traumatizing.
They make you eat it?
He tried, but even chicken soup wasn't safe because you know that chicken soup smell? There's like nothing better than that smell, right?
Better.
You lift up the lid of the pot and you get that waft of steam, and then all the chicken's feet were sticking out. He put the whole thing in the pot, and then he would break the feet off, and those would go on a plate on the table, Art. And so when you got meat in your teeth, you picked it out instead of a toothpick with the chicken foot.
My mom would eat the chicken feet. They were like a treat. I'm like, my dad was from off the boat from Greece, right? He's from Greece. So very similar. Just, he'd make goat and just nasty ass shit. The
immigrant experience, it doesn't matter where you came from. When you get here, it's the same experience.
The old country.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking awesome. It's awesome. But my mom was a hillbilly. Now, talking about coming from a different country, she's from the Smoky Mountains, deep in the hills, right? And, oh, man, just those two, I don't even know why they married. I don't.
Did they sleep in separate rooms? Because my grandparents did.
No, they didn't. They didn't pull the Lucy and Ricky thing. That actually sounds kind of awesome. That actually sounds awesome. But to be honest with you, I've been married 4 times, and my fourth time. You laugh all you want.
No,
fine.
it's look.
No, it's
I've got
game.
2 under my belt, so I get it.
All right. Well, 4th was the charm. We've been together for 20 years. It's the best. It's awesome. We're the only people we know that actually have sex. I mean, no, none of our friends are like, I think we did last year. Was it last year, baby? Yeah, I think last year. And we're just shutting up. So,
I love that you were still so optimistic that you went back a 4th time. That you're so much of a romantic and a believer in love.
I wasn't going to. And she's much younger than me. She's 20 years younger than me. But emotionally, she's a good 10, 15 years older than me. And she doesn't have ADHD. She's not an addict. She's just like, all the red flags when I met you. Much older than me, never attracted to older men. Addict, recovering addict, not interested. Had a child. I had a 12-year-old. She's like, I wanted none of that. Never wanted to have kids. And I'm just like, well, what the hell happened? She goes, your game. I go, but I don't have game. She goes, that's your game. I don't have game. I'm just honest and sincere. And
honesty is intoxicating because there's not a lot of it out there.
Yeah, but the thing is, with guys like me or people like me, neurodivergent and just grew up poor, just hustlers. Not a scammer. Never been a scammer. Hate scammers, but I hustle. And when it came to women, I was relentless, man. Just relentless. I was. It was bad.
That's why you got daughters. Rockstar Revenge.
What's that?
That's why you got daughters. Rockstar Revenge.
Thank you. I've been telling people that, and they're like, no. I go, bullshit. The universe, when you check out, all bets are paid, man. And I believe in God. Call it the universe, whatever it is. I'm not religious at all. Don't buy into any of that bullshit crap. I'm very spiritual. Have to be for my sobriety, right? But it's total karma. It's total karma.
The list of rock stars that only had sons, I can name 2, and I interview them all the time. Kid Rock and Tommy Lee. And both of those guys should have a hot daughter.
How?
I don't know.
Tommy Lee not have a daughter?
I don't know. But every other rock star I can name, and it's a lot, every one of them has got a smoke show daughter. That's the revenge.
Oh, yeah, my daughter. So the whole thing is like, my wife is like, I go, it's not really that far-fetched. My wife is hot.
Of course she is. You're a rock star.
Well, yes. And musicians, thank you, musicians. I'm not a rock star, but musicians and people like us, like me, our women are way out of our league. I mean, look at me. Would you just look at me? I mean, I'm not bad looking, but I'm not great looking. And I've had some really good looking women, and it's not an accident. Yeah, the success and the music and the money and all that stuff. But even when I was a poor dude, I had pretty good looking girlfriends.
I tell my husband all the time, he's a active duty Marine, 28 years. He puts those dress blues on. I'm powerless. I can't help it.
I get it. And I hope he's grateful for it. I hope he understands that. You know. Do you have kids?
I inherited some when I got married, so I have bonus kids because I can't have them myself.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So thank you.
Well, I mean, I'm only sorry to hear that if that's something you wanted and you couldn't
I
do
tried. I couldn't do it. I tried, but I got these amazing bonus kids, and my husband, my daughter just turned 18. So when you're talking about having a teenage daughter, we are right there with you.
So my wife, and you'll get this, my wife is like, look, pick one, the boob shirt or the short shorts. You can't have both of them. But you know what? Today she shows up, she walks into, we're still living in hotel rooms, so we're in adjoining rooms, right? And she walks in because we're going to have breakfast. We order room service, and she comes in, she's got these short shorts on and push-up shirt and all this makeup on. And I'm just like, she's gorgeous. My daughter is gorgeous, but I'm just like, the fuck are you dressed up for? I didn't say that. But I'm just like, I look at my wife like, this is your fault. You're the hot one. You did this.
You did this.
And my wife remembers, like, when she was like 11 or 12, she got money for her birthday and she went to the mall and she bought these little white short shorts. And she gets in the car with her mom, and her mom starts going through the bags, and she goes, nope. Here's the receipt. Take it back. Mom, I can't. My friends are still in there. I don't give a shit. Take it back. No. 11? Fuck no. No.
Yep.
Just go.
I remember being a teenage girl in the 80s, man. The big hair, the spandex, all that. It must have been so hard to have a teenage daughter in that era. I feel bad for what I put my parents through.
It's hard now.
Yeah.
It's hard. You got an 18-year-old. I got a 17-year-old. She's, is your daughter a senior?
Yeah, and she just signed her commitment letter to college last week. And thank God, she's really smart. She's going to school in Colorado. She's going to be a scientist. She's got a giant brain, which is great. But, man, like...
My daughter is street smart, and she's just naturally smart and charming and outgoing. But she's neurodivergent and dyslexic, and it's a struggle for her like when it comes to writing, she can write, paint, do anything creative like that. When it comes to math, we take her to mathnasium every 3 days a week. It's a thing where you go math tutors, and it's been helping, and she's going to get through the math, and she got a B last semester, which is amazing, in algebra 2, which I've never taken algebra. She got that from me.
It's the worst.
It's just, you don't need that shit. Come on. Really?
It's got to be so different for you being neurodivergent yourself and then being the parent of a neurodivergent child, because her journey has got to be so much different than yours because they know what's going on now.
Yeah, and she's not struggling for money. She didn't grow up in a housing project with a single crazy mom smoking cools, wearing curlers to school. and pushing a cart because someone stole her car, because we lived in a housing project. It was, but see, the thing is, I didn't know I was neurodivergent until my daughter started getting tested and went through all this stuff. And they're like, do you do this and feel this and do this? And I'm sitting back there going, yeah, my whole life. They tried to they called me hyperactive. That's what they called it in the 70s. And they put you on Ritalin. And my mom's like, what's Ritalin? Oh, it's this and this and this. I don't know what those words mean. And she called her doctor, said, what is Ritalin? And he said, it's methamphetamine, it's speed. And she's like, nope. Already lost one son to drugs. My brother died of an overdose. She's like, ain't happening. Just ain't happening. And, I'm glad I didn't have that medication because I had to try harder.
Yeah.
I had to work harder. And there's books about it. I don't know if you've ever read Malcolm Gladwell, but he talks about people who are neurodivergent and autistic on any spectrum. And the ones that learn how to work through that are the ones that are like Elon Musk, I mean, come on, that guy's way on the spectrum. Just look at him.
He's Nazi salute on the spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can take that neurodivergency and do good, or you can do evil.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that.
You can tell you're a girl, Dad, because you have Taylor Swift friendship bracelets on.
Now, these aren't necessarily that. It's close to it. Can you see they say Everclear, and there's one that says fuck MS. These are from fans of mine and the band that have MS, or people in their life have MS. That's what the orange signifies. And and that's where it is. That's why I wear them. And sure people look at me and go, wow, that creepy old guy must be a big Taylor Swift fan. Which I am. I am. I think she's great. And my wife and daughter love her, and I've met her, and she's wonderful. And I don't have, if people think of that, like I care. But these are a little bit more special. These mean something to me. And I've got, if I put on everything I have, I'd have it up to here on both sides.
You'd look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. Well, when you talk about the heroes of the fire department, I grew up the daughter of a career firefighter. So when you talk about those heroes that saved your house, even though you're not home yet, I grew up with watching my dad run out of the house when the bells went off all of the time. And to see the music industry celebrating and raising money for all the fire victims and celebrating the firefighters for being so brave and selfless and doing everything they can. Those concerts and all those fundraisers are pretty awesome.
They're pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm involved with a couple of them and I've given money to all of them because I just feel blessed that we have insurance and our house is still there. We didn't think it was going to be. I mean, it just, when I drove away, the fire man that almost pulled me out of my house because my family had already left and I was getting stuff. He's like, sir, you got to leave now. Your backyard is on fire. And I could see fire like glow. And I'm just like, I'm screwed.
We've all talked about that, about what you grab.
You do. I guarantee you're going to grab stupid stuff. I grabbed a toothbrush. I didn't grab my Taylor guitar that I've written all these hits on and stuff. I didn't grab that. I grabbed my computer, and I didn't grab my passport, and I had to leave 7 days later. I didn't grab my passport. Thank God it was there, the next day. But we went out to we came first here to the studio, but the wind was blowing so hard that the windows were just going crazy and scaring my wife and my mother-in-law and my daughter. And so we drove out to my wife's aunt's house, which is out in Palm Springs. It's about 3 hours away, 2.5 hours away. Spent the night there. About 11 o'clock at night, my daughter comes into our room crying and gets in bed with us saying her ex-boyfriend he told her that he had seen our house on fire on the news. And he told like everybody, and his parents like told everybody our house was burned down and blah, blah, blah. And the next day, about 10:30, I get a text from my neighbor that lives in the back. And I imagined it was just going to be a picture of all of our houses just gone. And it was a picture of my house, untouched, backyard, pool cover, black, oak trees, all the fruit trees burned, hedges gone, fence gone, lawn black, but the house was still there.
That's amazing.
And I just cried for about 15 minutes.
I bet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to know that you're going to be able to get back in soon. It sounds like before you can even leave for tour.
Well, we're doing shows on the weekends. So when we're coming up there, I'll be up there for 4 days, at different shows in the area. And then we're talking about the Newton show, right?
Yeah, you're going to be at the Cabot Theater in Beverly, and then you're going to be in Nashua, New Hampshire the next day on March 7th.
So you're in New England.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so, and we've got a private in Boston like a day or two before. So we've got 4 shows over like 4 days. And hopefully when I get back, we'll be able to get back into the house. But I gotta say, the people at the hotel have been great. I swim in their pool every day. Swimming is really important for my MS because I don't get overheated. So it's nice to be able to do that. So, in the scheme of things, you said it, I'm one of the lucky ones.
Yeah.
I am. And I don't take it for granted. And I try to do everything I can. Like a friend of mine, I'm having coffee with him tomorrow. And his whole house burned down. And our daughters go to the same high school. She just graduated last year. His daughter, she's going to like Princeton or something. She's amazing. And it just like, I just try to stay active. I've got all these guitars. I've given away a couple of guitars and a bass to people who lost, one friend, but people I know are helping out like musicians that lost everything. So I'm opening up my storage on the other side here, and people need stuff, and it's not stuff I'm using or need, and can be replaced. And I'm just giving it away.
You're just giving back to the universe. You got lucky, and you're giving back to the universe.
It's that's gratitude. Like I said, proactive gratitude is taking like I said, I believe that there's a higher power in the universe. And I believe in mercy and grace. Mercy is something you get when you don't deserve it. And grace is something you don't get when you do deserve it. And I have been the recipient of both mercy and grace my whole life in many, many ways. So I try to pay that forward by doing nice things for other people. And hopefully that they'll feel gratitude and they'll take that. And that's why we call it in the program, we call it proactive gratitude.
You're going to be doing a bunch of headlining shows, and then you're going to be part of like Welcome to Rockville and a bunch of these big festivals, which all the bands always talk about how much fun they are because you're almost more excited to get off stage to go and watch all the other bands.
Yeah.
What's the most fun you've had at a festival as a spectator, not as a performer?
When we played, well, many of them back in the day in the 90s, those were great. But Woodstock 99.
I was there.
Before all hell broke out, on the first night, on Friday night, I'm on the main stage up on the second level, and Rage Against the Machine's coming out. And I haven't met those guys, but Tom's like on the side tuning it up, and he looks up and he sees me and he goes, "Come down here." He's like, "Come down here." And I'm like, fuck yeah. And this hot girl's next to me goes, are you going down on stage? I go, yeah. She goes, can I go? I go, fuck yeah, let's go.
That's the
And
game.
we went down on the, was that you?
No, that's, I wish. But that's the Art Alexakis game you were talking about right there.
We're going to leave it at that. We're not going to talk about what happened later. But that is kind of aphrodisiakis. Oh, I just created a word.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a hashtag right there.
Arthur Alex aphrodisiakis. I would have to tell my wife that one. Alex aphrodisiakis.
I got it on tape. I'll play it back for you.
So an aphrodisiakis.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Pretty awesome. Yeah. But anyway, we went down there and we're on the side of the stage and the guitar tech's like, yeah, man, right over here, sit right here. And we're on stage just looking at the crowd and the sun's going down. You saw him play, right?
Oh, I was in that crowd that you were looking at. I was one of the little itty bitty heads. Yeah.
That was just going back forever. And the whole crowd, like a wave, was just like jumping up and down the whole set. And I'm just, because I think they're our generation's Zeppelin, they're just one of my favorite bands of all time. And I'm on the stage, and I'm just like, and it's funny because I look up and see a couple of guys in my band and crew, and they're like, I'm like, nope. You
How'd you get down there, man? This sucks. The only reason we survived
good to be the king.
Yeah, right? The only reason we survived 99, and we didn't even know how bad it was until like later when all the news footage came out and stuff, is because I went to 94 and was in the mud and the whole thing. So when we went to 99, we went in an RV with our own bathroom and our own food and our own water and all of that. And so it wasn't as bad. I felt bad telling everybody what an amazing show it was. And then now you go and look at those documentaries and you're like, oh shit.
One of those things. So that documentary, that's Woodstock, Nightmare or whatever it's called, that was on it. I think it was on Max, on HBO or whatever it was. And I'm watching that, and they mention every band they mention, it's in a negative context about what they said, what they did, and stuff like that. They made no mention of Everclear. I'm like, us and Dave Matthews and a few other, we just like skated.
How could you not know, coming up in my radio career in the mid to late 90s and going to all of those early Korn shows and the Rage Against the Machine shows, like, what did you think was going to happen if you put 500,000 people at a Korn show or when Limp Bizkit plays break stuff? Like, have you never seen a mosh pit before? Hello?
Well, not only that, that concert was set to fail from the beginning. First of all, they didn't put it on someone's farm in gently rolling hills. They put it on a fucking Air Force base, a decommissioned Air Force base.
Not a tree to be found.
Not a tree to be found. Hot tarmac, kids walking around. They're charging $8 for water, and the public water stopped working the first day. And was creating mud. You know all about that.
Yeah.
And it was just a bad vibe from the beginning. People were like, so what makes this special like the other ones? I go, I don't really think it does. I said that at the beginning. They didn't use, the MTV didn't use it. I go, I think this is going to be a shit show, personally.
94 was amazing. 94 had that Woodstock vibe. Because everybody was wet.
We were touring and we saw it on TV and we go, fuck, man, I hope they have another one. And we get to the point where they'll ask us. So in 99, when they asked us, I'm like, killer. And our experience was pretty good. We had a great show. There was like 350,000 people we were on the far stage. And there was like, they estimated 350 to see us. And, it was amazing hearing 350,000 people sing Santa Monica.
Oh, hell yeah.
Get out of here. It was awesome. But man, I was hearing about girls like getting pulled under the stage and given passes for sex by roadies and stuff like that. And I went down under the stage and they had cots down there. And I'm just like, man, I told people and they're like, yeah, I'll tell somebody.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Sure you will.
I joke with people all the time. That's why I never got COVID, because I used the porta potties at Woodstock 94. I'm never getting the disease ever again. I am immune to everything.
Yeah, it might be true. It might be any of those things. But you know what's a trip is I forget. Anyway, the whole big concert thing. Not a fan of it, but we are, like you say, we're playing Back to Rockville and all those Danny Wimmer shows, and those will be fun this year. We're playing a couple of them, and but you know, we get asked a lot of times, and we're just already busy doing our own thing. I mean, we do 100 shows a year, and we're doing a tour later in the year. I can't say who the bands are going to be.
Oh, you can. No, go ahead. Give out all the secrets. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I would do that one. No, we're going to go on sale and make announcements in a couple of weeks. But some really cool bands to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Sparkle and Fade. And we're putting out with Universal Capital, we're putting out a remaster with some songs that no one's ever heard, some old demos and stuff from that era. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a big year.
Before I let you go, the last time when you were on the show, I know you're a big movie guy, and we were talking about Back to the Future, and that if they made it today, they would go back to like the mid-90s because they went back 30 years. And you were like, somebody's got to make that movie. And you're a movie guy. You've done acting, soundtrack stuff. So I just wanted to see if you've stolen my idea yet about them remaking it, because going back to the 90s would be an amazing Back to the Future movie.
I haven't stolen that yet. But so you're free to write it.
Okay.
Anytime. You know, I mean, they really need to bring that brand back. You know, that whole thing back. I mean, it's like famous movies now cycle, you know, every 20, 30 years. So I think that it's definitely time for that.
The Under the Sea dance with Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit on stage instead of Johnny Be Good.
Good luck with that. Yeah.
Well, you're going to be at the Cabot Theater in Beverly March 6th, at the Nashua Center for the Arts on March 7th. Tickets are on sale now. It's good to see you. I am so glad that your house survived. So that makes me so happy.
Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate it. I know for a fact that one of those shows, I'm not exactly sure. People should check, but I think one of those shows is sold out and the other is pretty close.
Yeah.
So if people are going to buy tickets, they need to do it now.
Got to get them now. All right. We'll see you later. Good luck with the 17-year-olds.
She's smart. She'll figure it out. We'll keep her from doing anything really stupid. I wish there was someone around. When I was 17, I was carrying a gun and drug dealing.
I was going to say, if we survived growing up in the 70s and 80s, your daughter will be fine.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. We'll see you later. Thank you so much.
Bye, Carrie.
Bye.
Thanks.
There he is, Art Alexakis from Everclear. You can see him at the Cabot Theater in Beverly, Massachusetts on May 6th. Get the link for tickets in the show notes of this episode. You'll also find the link to this episode's corresponding playlist. I make a playlist for every full-length episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast that features all of my guest music and all the songs and artists that we referenced in the interview. You'll also find the link to his first appearance on the show, episode 171. You'll find Art's links, the Everclear links, and of course, the Mistress Carrie links. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share the Mistress Carrie podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday. Plus, every weekday, you get the Sit Rep. The Situation Report gives you all of your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates in about 5 minutes. And you never know when we're going to release a bonus episode. Join me live every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern for my weekly streaming video show, Cocktails in the War Room, and you can always find me on the radio. Get the details to all of that and more at mistresscarrie.com. The Mistress Carrie Podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.